pulled Goliath's sword from its sheath and killed him with it. And then cut off his head. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they turned and ran. In other words, they didn't back him up. They just saw the road and they hit it. Even the king, even their king, didn't even stand it. Didn't even want to try it. Now, in most times, like I used to say this before in a Bible study that my family used to have years back. It's like somebody some gang goes and robs a liquor store. They send one guy in to rob it. The other gang's waiting outside. All the other people are waiting outside. The innocent person is the store clerk. When the guy that's in there demands that he demands the clerk to give him money, and that clerk presses the emergency button below, and that signals an alarm to a local police department or sheriff's department. What happens when the gang members outside hear those sirens coming? Are they going to stand there, or are they going to say everybody for themselves? They're going to stand there and say they're going to run and say everybody for themselves. They don't want to get caught. Which meaning that guy that was in there is the only one that gets caught, and that's what happened to Goliath here. He got beat up by some young guy. Then when Goliath got killed, the whole army just fled. They didn't even bother saying like, hey, let's help our fallen friend. They just, boom, took off, and it just says right here, then the Israelis gave a great shout of triumph and rushed after the Philistines, chasing them as far as Gath and the gates of Ekron. The bodies of the dead and wounded Philistines were strewn all along the road of Sharam. Sharam, I think that's right. Well, now, here's where I say don't read into your Bibles. Just let me say it after this. Here's where, this was I was looking up. Now here comes the champion of the present after that. It's weird because now David not only defeats this giant, but he ends up becoming one of the best men that King Saul's ever had. Not only does it become one of the best men that he's ever had, he ends up becoming the general of King Saul's army. Then he starts winning all these battles for King Saul. And at first, King Saul's okay with it. But the more battles he wins, King Saul gets a little weary. Where every time King Saul comes home with David, instead of them honoring King Saul and David, they're just honoring David. They're just saying, Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands. That's already striking jealousy in King Saul's mind. Well, then all of a sudden, he starts getting a little weary. This is right when he's getting like that. He gives his daughter away to King David. Saul gives one of his daughters to David. And, he marries, does the whole thing. Well, suddenly, not only that, but David's becoming friends with one of King Saul's sons, Jonathan. During one of the feasts, it's a 3-day feast, I believe, King Saul asks Jonathan, hey, how come David is not here sitting at the table? He was supposed to be here yesterday and he wasn't. And he's not here again. And then Jonathan says, oh, well, he's in the wilderness with his brothers, having a celebration. King Saul just starts getting angry. And then he even tells him, he's all, well, how come you let him leave and this and that, and that, and that, and that, and this and that, and that, and that. And he's all, well, because, he's my friend and it's good that. And he's all, you know what? And then King Saul tells Jonathan, he's all, you know what? As long as David lives, neither I or the throne nor you is safe. And then Jonathan gets mad, says stuff to his own father, the king. Stands right up to the king. Says like, you should be glad that the kingdom of Israel is going to a man that is worthy of your love. What does King Saul do? Grabs a spear and throws it at his own son. Everybody gets all shocked, and because King Saul is that jealous. Well, one day, when David is back, he finds out King Saul's looking for him. David confides in this priest. And if I had the movie King David, you'd see it right here, where there's a part where David is confiding in a priest, and he's also confiding in all these other priests that the head priest is preaching to. Well, all of a sudden, when the head priest finds out King Saul's looking for David, King Saul, the priest, tells David, hey, you must go now. Go. Just go. Just take all this stuff and go. Just take whatever I'm giving to you and go. And then when he leaves, the priest doesn't even see. The priest just turns its back, not even paying attention to what direction David has left in. The king comes up to the priest. He's all, hey, where's David? The priest says, I don't know. And then the king tells him, you're lying. You are lying. And then then the priest says, a priest doesn't lie. A priest will not ever lie. And then King Saul says, was he here? He was here, was he not? The priest says, he was here. And then King Saul's all, well, when did he leave? And then the priest says, well, some time ago. He's not saying he left a minute ago. He's saying like he could have left sometime in the morning, sometime yesterday. And then the king says, in what direction did he go? And all of a sudden, the priest says, I do not know, my lord. Then all of a sudden the king's like, okay, all right. And he tells one of his men, I want all these priests killed one by one, till the head priest right there changes his mind. And I guess next thing you know, all these priests are being slaughtered. Well, then finally, and this is also coming from the movie, it's written in the Bible. I don't know if it's written in the Bible, but it's biblical that all these priests are being killed. Well, like I said in the movie, while these priests are being killed, the head priests are saying it is good to give thanks to the Lord, and all the priests are saying his love will endure forever. And as they're saying that, they're being killed. Well, finally, the head priest says something to King Saul, and he says, no king will ever look upon David low. Right in the movie, that's when the king looks at the head priest like, oh, okay, you want to take on the head of the nation now. Now you want to take on me. I'm the head of the nation. Most people wouldn't even dare to take on a king or a president or fight with a king or a president or a queen or a dictator. Because a king or a queen or a dictator or a president can have you dead within a minute, within a second. While as the priest is not giving in to the king just hurls a spear at him and kills him. His last words in the movie are, his love will endure his love for him, meaning his love for